Warning, the stories you're about to hear are detailed accounts of shenanigans, pranks, and some mistakes that are meant to replicate the sort of discussions that veterans have when they reunite over a cold beverage and do not depict the professional daily actions of the military at large. We hope to make you laugh, but not to disrespect our proud men and women in uniform. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Cammo Comedy, where we take a humorous look at the lighter side of military service. We got a big show for you today, but before we jump into it, if you like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating, write us a review, as that makes us more relevant in the algorithm and boosts the overall visibility of the show. But word-of-mouth advertising is just so powerful, so if you tell some friends, I will love you forever. Okay, let's jump into the show. I am your host, Darren Wolf. Just as a friendly reminder to the audience, we put out a new show every single Monday. So make sure you give the notification bell a nice tap so you don't miss a show. Give it a nice tap. Also, we are doing laughter therapy here on this show. We got a lot of military members who struggle with everyday life after service, and we're just here to share a laugh and remember the good times. Joining me today is the man who taught me they call them fun bags because they have antidepressant qualities, special guest Murph. Murph, thanks for being on the show today.
Well, yes, they do. That's all. I can go along with that one.
That's old school wisdom is what that is.
Yes, sir. Also joining the show today is the man who taught me it is in bad taste to donate your used dildos to Goodwill, call sign Cheeks. Cheeks, thanks for being on the show today.
P. Diddy would disagree.
Topical.
Spread cheeks and not hate, folks.
Although that might be old news when this comes out in 2025.
Still
Happy
funny.
New Year's Day. Happy 2025, everybody. This is a New Year's show.
Yeah.
So we're doing a special New Year's show.
Do you have
everybody.
any New Year resolutions?
I do, actually. My New Year's resolution is I want to escape an awkward situation, probably at a bar, by shimmying through a ventilation shaft. That is my New Year's resolution for 2025.
And that's not going to make it more awkward.
I didn't say that. I said that I want to shimmy through a ventilation shaft. Now, I will parse that if there's something that, is a little bit too weak to support a grown man.
It just collapses underneath you.
Exactly. I will parse it and say I would like to do a shoulder roll backward off of my bar stool and just sprint through the parking lot. That also is acceptable.
Just past your car across the street. Just keeps you running.
Also, I envision I would like to leave an awkward situation by tossing one side of my scarf over a shoulder and say, "Well, I never."
I feel like this is just shit you do normally.
This is what I intend to continue doing in 2025. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I'm going to get my nipples raised.
Jeez.
They're a little lower than I'd like.
I would like to see that. So just let us know. What about you, Murph? Do you got any New Year's resolutions?
Well, yeah. My only resolution is I just want to make it through the next year. This year, it's when you get to my point in life, you just want to see the next New Year's. That's it. So,
okay.
I'm doing everything I want to do, so I don't need to change anything else.
That's great.
I'm perfect.
Exactly. Well, we hope everybody can accomplish their New Year's resolutions.
Hell
this
yeah.
year. All right, so you guys ready for my first story?
I guess.
All right, so we have ourselves a World War II boot camp story.
No shit.
Yes. So we've got three main characters here. We're going to call the young recruit Jonathan Mills. We have ourselves a drill sergeant. We're going to call him Sergeant Horton. And we have ourselves a captain, and we're going to call him Captain Rhodes.
All right.
Okay? So the way this worked back in the day is that you had one main platoon, all the recruits, and they would get divided up into smaller groups, and they would have different activities that they would have to go participate in throughout the day, right?
Activities? You mean getting smoked?
Yeah, getting smoked or doing whatever, appointments.
They're not doing puzzles.
Yeah.
Immunizations. I didn't mean to convey that maybe they were in kindergarten. But the way this worked is they would get divided up, and the drill sergeant would come out, and he would, at some point in the day, and he would announce the names of people who were going to participate in KP duty the next day.
Oh, kitchen.
For those of you in the audience who don't know, KP duty is kitchen patrol. So you're going to be scrubbing pots and pans. You're going to be mopping. You're going to be probably peeling potatoes in the 40s.
Emptying garbage.
Yeah, doing all kinds of what we call bitch work.
Yep.
It's not always a fun experience, right? So the last thing that Jonathan wanted to do is fucking KP duty. Now, Jonathan was a smarter guy, right? And he noticed that when the drill sergeant would call out names, if that person was off on a different activity for that point in time, he would just skip that name and call out the next set of names until he had the appropriate number that he needed for KP duty the next day.
So if they were on like coloring book that day, they
Shut
wouldn't.
the fuck up.
They wouldn't do the puzzles the next.
Sure. So Jonathan realized if he just stayed silent when his name was called, they would just skip him and move on to the next person. Now,
That's risky business.
this only is effective really early on when the drill sergeants don't really have faces with names yet.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of weeks of an opportunity, right, where you can get away with this. So Sergeant Horton realizes that this one guy that he's calling out, Jonathan Mills, is never fucking present. So obviously, this draws a little bit of his attention and says, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Something is up. You know, everybody at this point in time probably had done at least one KP duty except for Jonathan Mills. What's going on?
He is no longer the gray man.
So the next day, he's going through his list and he calls out Jonathan Mills and looks out into the crowd. Nothing is said. So then he goes, okay, moves on to the next. After he's done, he goes out to who he is now sure is Jonathan Mills and says, excuse me, recruit, are you Jonathan Mills? To which he replies, why, yes, sir, I am. So,
Oh no!
well, check this out. So the drill sergeant says, could you come over here with me for a moment? And just pulls him out. And he's just like, okay. Now, Jonathan's feeling like he's in some trouble at this point in time. So he's like, okay, what's going to happen? You're probably going to get yelled at, something like that. So the sergeant says, I need an enlisted man for a very special assignment. Jonathan's like, okay, what do you got? And he's like, well, as I'm sure you've noticed, the food in the chow hall here is subpar, right? To which Jonathan's like, yeah, it is. I need a lower enlisted guy to stage a protest the next time we go in. That is the only way that we're going to be able to get our food improved at the chow hall. And you could be a hero amongst all your other soldiers and get us better food.
He's setting him up. Oh no!
So he's like, but what I need you to do, when I tell everybody to fall out and go get chow, you've got to pump your fist and demand better food before people go in there. He's like, and I promise you, this is going to work. So Jonathan's like, dude, I want better food. I want to be a hero amongst all my other soldiers. So I'm in. Count me in there, Sergeant. You know,
Sergeant Horton's a savage.
Sergeant Horton seemed genuine. You know, he's saying, look, I'm looking out for your best interest here, right? So the next time they go into chow, Sergeant Horton tells everybody to fall out, at which point Private Mills, he falls out. He's like, no, we will not go. We demand better food in the chow hall. Who's with me? Who's with me? Better food.
No, the fuck he did not.
Crickets. Nobody else fucking said shit. I was like, oh, what's going on? So, Sergeant Horton goes, Private Mills, report to the captain's office right now. Now, at this point in time, Jonathan doesn't think that anything is really amiss because he's like, okay, he's got to keep up appearances,
Yeah,
right?
this is according to plan.
Is the only way that we get better food. So he goes and reports into the captain's office, right? Now, Captain Rhodes is in there, and he seems happy. He seems warm and expecting to see him.
Oh, man.
You know, he's just like, oh, hey, how are you doing there, Private? I understand that you are trying to get better chow in the chow hall. He's like, yes, sir. Come with me. So the captain marches him right into the chow hall, has all the cooks, all the people working KP duty and everything that day stop and says, hey, everybody stop. I need your attention for a little bit. This is Private Jonathan Mills. I need you to remember this guy's face. I need you to remember his name, right? We need to make sure that we give him a special breakfast, bacon, eggs, fresh milk, and cereal. Do it now. Everybody's like, okay. He's just like, I hope you enjoy your meal. And so they oblige and they give him a nice breakfast. But then the captain says, I need you to come to my office tomorrow morning. Report in. Okay. So the next morning comes, and just like he's told, Jonathan reports into the captain's office, right? So he reports in, and the captain says, all right, Jonathan Mills, did you enjoy your meal yesterday? He's like, well, sir, I did. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Well, that's the last fucking meal you'll be eating here.
Well, it didn't go down quite like that. It didn't go exactly how you would expect. So the captain says, okay, so about your mutiny. And he's just like, what, mutiny? Like the sergeant told me to do this. He's like, no. He's like, I could court-martial you and have you in the brig for the next 20 years.
Holy shit.
Or you could take 7 days hard labor doing KP duty.
Oh.
He's like, oh, fuck. Now Jonathan realizes he was set up. He's like, all right, I'll take the KP duty, right?
Yeah. I can throw you 20 years. Mutiny.
So,
what a strong word.
Yeah. Yeah. So it gets a little bit worse. So Captain marches him into KP duty, calls all the cooks, all the people that are on KP duty around. And mind you, this is after he had this really nice meal that they had to specially make for him and all that kind of stuff. And they say, all right, everybody gather around. I need your attention for a second. It's like, do you remember Jonathan Mills I told you to remember? Well, he's going to be working with you guys for the next 7 days. Oh. So we're going to have to make sure that you guys do it up right. So Jonathan Mills has the next 7 days where he is on hands and knees scrubbing the floors of this freaking chow hall, right? And since he got on the radar, he is no longer the gray man, as you said. Now Jonathan Mills has to be just the complete best soldier, because he is getting singled out for the rest of basic training. We're going to have more on this at the end, so we'll just go ahead and pause right there. But how awesome is that story? This is old school justice, man.
He was not the hero he thought he was going to be.
Little young, little arrogant, little gullible.
That's fucking gold.
Yeah, man.
So I got the next story.
All right,
and it's going to be in like the 80s, 90s time frame, okay? Before there were cell phones. So our main character we're going to call Chris. All right. So Chris was in the National Guard, and he was a high school dropout.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Just only the best. So Chris.
I guess I can't blame a guy for, trying to better himself in his situation.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he was a piece of shit. So, with guardsmen, you have all walks of life.
Right.
Right. So your unit could be comprised of welders, you could have electricians, you could have police officers, you could have firefighters, you could have somebody who works at the Costco, somebody who works at UDF down the street. It is
a nice chicken bake from Costco and a double chunk chocolate chip cookie.
Yes.
Sorry, referencing the Rizzler here.
So they literally have every type of person in their unit, right? So this particular day, they're having drill, and one of the fellow guardsmen, who was a police officer, sees Chris and goes, hey, there's a warrant for your arrest, right? Chris goes, yeah, I know. And immediately just hightails it, sprinting as fast as he can out the front door, finds a cornfield, hauls ass through this cornfield, right? Chris got into a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
All right. From what we were told, he knifed somebody at a bar.
Oh, shit. So shame on you, Chris.
So he had felony warrants, okay? This guy was a wanted felon, and they were looking for him. The cops were.
Okay.
Well, the cop later was like, man, I should have got between him and the door. I fucked up.
Yeah, you fucked up.
So he chases him out. He calls it in. They've got chopper up overhead. They've got every car that's in the precinct in the area looking for, because he's a wanted felon, right? It's not like he's wanted for a traffic citation. You know what I mean?
Right.
He stabbed someone.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Well, Chris had apparently ran through this cornfield, and they were working on the cornfield, combines and stuff like that, weaving in and out, sprints over to the nearest apartment complex, knocks on someone's door. And as I mentioned before, this is before cell phones.
Right.
He's like, hey, man, can I use your phone? Nice guy's like, sure, man, come on in. Just lets this wanted felon in his house.
Probably in, military uniform. So he's like, this guy's probably a good guy.
Right.
Come on in.
Yeah, he's like, sure,
I'll
man.
help you out a little bit.
Well, lets him in, and Chris had later told the law, he's like, yeah, I waited in there for hours until chopper went away, till the police went away. Shit. Now they got him eventually. That's important to know. He didn't just get away with this, right? And he's, from what we were told, he's in prison still.
Oh shit.
But that story is just so funny because you have
all walks of life in the military, man.
Literally from one spectrum to the other. They meet each other and they're like, hey, you're under arrest.
Yeah.
Takes off running. It's just funny all around,
Yeah.
man.
That is rare, but I mean, it does happen. For a second there, I thought you were going to tell me he wound up in a baler or something like that. You had a bailed felon.
He's sitting there with in a bale of straw. His legs and arms are sticking out. He's trying to run away.
So that's great.
That one cracks me up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So so my dad was in World War II.
Okay.
He was a bit of a character. So before he was drafted, he worked in some factory in town.
Right.
And as I say, he was a bit of a character. And it was, well, the war was building up. I mean, Pearl Harbor hadn't happened yet or any of that kind of stuff. And being of German heritage and knowing kind of the mood of everything,
Yeah.
come break time at the place, they would go into the break room and he'd get up on a box. And again, being of German heritage, he grew up speaking the language.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So he would get up on the box and spiel out a bunch of German,
Yeah.
none of it really being a complete sentence.
Right. He's
In
just saying-
reality, he's just, yelling out a bunch of German words. And after a couple of minutes, he'd go, Knuten haben, and raise his arm.
Oh, shit.
And now, Knuten haben is nothing. Okay? It's a made up word.
Yeah.
But it sounds good.
But yeah, it did, and everybody go back to work.
No.
That needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah. So
Nobbin.
somebody reports him.
Oh, no.
Now, I got to say, this happened in a small town.
Okay.
So everybody knew everybody.
Right.
But anyway, somebody reports him. And there's an investigation going on. Now, he has no clue of any of this happening.
Oh, wow.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
In the meantime, he gets his draft notice and he's drafted into the Army.
Okay.
So he takes his draft notice. He walks down to the local pub, has 2 shots,
Yeah.
tears his draft notice in half, walks into the Navy recruiter, and joins the Navy.
Oh, yes.
Hell yeah. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So he goes into the Navy. He gets sent off to basic. He gets trained as a rangefinder operator for big guns. And ultimately, he's assigned to a naval cruiser.
Okay.
So he's on board the cruiser, goes through the war. No big deal. His ship got hit a number of times. I mean, he was really in the middle of a lot of shit.
Wow.
But each time the ship got hit, they limped back to San Diego.
Oh, shit.
They'd be in dry dock for a month. He'd run up and down the West Coast, partying at all the different clubs and everything.
Hell yeah.
His wife, my mom,
Right.
this is before, right after they got married, she'd come from the Midwest out to California, and they were partying up and down the whole West Coast.
Oh, wow.
That'd be fun.
I mean, yeah, no, it was neat. And then on occasion, they'd come into dry dock, and he'd come back home on leave and spend some time back home
Nice.
before he had to be back. And so, end of the war comes, all's right with the world.
Nice.
Some years later, I get drafted into the Army.
Okay.
I did not tear up my draft notice and join the Navy.
So that's twice now you didn't listen to your dad. Once, but it did get you a sedan.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So I go into the service. No big deal.
Right.
I go through basic AIT. I get sent overseas. I'm sitting in a headquarters of 3 Corps in South Vietnam.
Okay.
And I'm given an assignment. You're going to be doing this. This is your assignment. You've got a chopper on call. You've got a Jeep and a driver. Wherever you got to go, you get there whenever you need to do whatever you need to do. Okay, fine.
Great.
So I'm fat, dumb, and happy. About 2 weeks into this, my CO comes to me and he says, we seem to be having some trouble with your security clearance.
Oh, shit.
What?
I said, oh? I don't know what that means. I mean, yeah, I'm in the service, but I haven't been in that long.
Yeah.
I said,
good boy.
I don't know, sir. I don't know of anything. Well, have you ever been convicted of anything, or is there warrants out for? No, sir. No, sir. Nothing.
You didn't knife somebody in a bar?
No, nothing like that. At least nothing I got caught for. Anyway, so he says, okay, well, it's just probably a snafu. It'll work its way out.
All right.
Well, I start getting letters from my mom about the FBI's been to all the neighbors. And,
What?
And yeah, they had interviewed all the neighbors. They had gone back to my high school, interviewed people at the high school, the principal and teachers.
No shit.
I'm getting all this. I go, what the hell's going on? So I get the letter. I go to my CO. I say, hey, listen, this is, I don't know. He said, the FBI is interviewing your neighbors. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
So
That's not good.
another week or two goes on. Still nothing back from the Pentagon. And he says, you being straight with me now?
Yeah.
Well, so,
You're in the newspaper for America's Most Wanted.
yeah.
Scenarios, they send you home from Vietnam.
Yeah. So he says, okay, because I've got access to all kinds of intelligence in the job I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've got to have this top secret clearance, and it's not coming through. So finally he says, okay, I'm going to bump this up. So he calls headquarters in Saigon.
All right.
Talks to somebody there, somebody that's got real rank, and says, we need to find out about this because either I got to jerk this guy out or we got to do something.
Yeah, I can appreciate that situation.
So as I was told later, this brigadier in Saigon calls the Pentagon and had a bit of a chat, and all of a sudden my clearance came through. So
It took a 1-star general.
yes, so okay, it comes through. No explanation.
Wow.
Right.
It just arrives.
You guys have only talked to everybody this guy fucking knows. Like,
Well,
shit or get off the pot.
What about his imaginary friend? You talked to that motherfucker?
so okay, so all's right with the world. I finish out my tour there. I get sent back and blah 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 blah. I get discharged. Years later, I'm working as an inspector.
Okay.
And I'm doing an inspection, a fire safety inspection at a DOD plant.
Okay.
So there's all this security and everything. You got a gate, you pull up to a gate and you have to be buzzed in and all this stuff. I go into the place, identify myself, tell them I'm here to do an inspection, and secretary says, okay, let me take your card. Let me check with the superintendent and make sure it's okay. She comes back, she says, oh, yes, it's fine. One of the foremen will meet you right outside this door, but the superintendent wants to see you before you leave.
Don't like that.
Okay, well, I figure
Yeah.
he just wants a rundown on what I found or didn't find. I'm not allowed to take any pictures. He probably wants to make sure that I'm not taking pictures inside this
Sure.
plant. So, okay, fine. So I go do the inspection. Everything's pretty much perfect because they get inspected by the Department of Defense all the time, and they got all their ducks in a row.
Right.
Right.
So I walk in, get done, walk into the superintendent's office, and he says, have a seat. And he's sitting there, and he's holding my business card, and he says, yeah, I see your last name is Murph. Do you know a Mr. Murph? And I said, well, yes, I do. That would be my dad. He said, really?
The CIA repels from the ceiling. Prones you out, puts you in zip ties.
He's still okay. He says, I went to high school with your dad.
What?
Okay.
No kidding. So we talked for a minute or two, and he says, yeah, your dad was quite the character. I said, oh, well, I've heard some stories. He says, no. During the war, I was in intelligence in Washington.
Oh my gosh.
He said, one day I got a call from the FBI wanting to know background on your dad because he was inciting people where he worked.
Yes.
And so he was a suspect as being a member of the German-American Bund.
Oh my God.
So this is the other side of the coin where being a smart ass does not pay off.
Yes.
Well, and I said, no kidding. We never knew that. He says, nobody knew it. All this information just recently been released. That's why I can share it with you.
Okay.
Wow.
He said every time when he was in the service that his ship came back to port, he was being followed.
What?
Yeah.
So the FBI kept tracking him all during World War II.
When he was going up and down the coast partying?
There were a couple of agents having a good time as well.
My God.
You
So
know?
your mom and dad are the equivalent of like modern day ravers running up and down the West
Yeah,
Coast.
that's
You
right.
got two
That's right.
FBI agents in black
Now-
suits just
Just
watching.
I got to raise the red flag on something right here I don't know if we've thought of. I would imagine that the FBI kept this case open for so long because all the agents were having so much fun. They're like, this guy's just fucking partying.
Yeah.
They're like, we need more information. We need to follow this guy
No,
around
well,
a
you
lot
know.
longer.
Well, that could be. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I mean, because I'm sure they were having a great time.
Oh yeah. God.
So I says, okay, well, wow, that's something. I said, well, you know what? I said, I had a hell of a time getting a clearance when I was in the service. He said, well, he says that might have been tied into that. He says, I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So I hooked him up with my dad, and they had a reunion, and it was all great and everything.
Nice.
So then a few years later,
Oh my God. There's more.
oh, yes, a few years later, Afghanistan comes along.
Okay.
And we have an officer assigned to Afghanistan that is nephew of Murph,
Okay.
grandson of Mr. Murph,
Okay.
and he's over there and he's having trouble getting a clearance.
Get the fuck out of here.
Somebody shoots their mouth off in the 30s.
This asshole gets up on a literal soapbox, goes, train car, railroad, vehicle, box, Knutnobbin.
Oh, shit.
So I talked to
Backfired.
I talked to mother of grandson of Mr. Murph.
Okay.
And said, well, you know why he's having trouble getting clearance over there, don't you? She says, well, no, I don't remember it. I said, no. And I remind her of the story. And she says, oh, yeah, I'll have to let him know next time he calls.
No shit.
So next time he calls, she reminds him of that. He goes to his CO, tells him the story. Boom! His clearance comes right through.
Oh my God.
So
Listen.
you know, once the book is open,
Right.
it doesn't close.
Yeah.
Listen, you have to believe me. My granddad was a smartass. That's all there is to it.
And he was.
Yes.
Oh, that's one of my favorite stories.
That's an amazing story.
That's so good.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a continuation of the saga of Jonathan Mills and Captain Rhodes,
Yes.
right? So as I said before, when you get this extreme scrutiny like this, right, like you either have two things. Either you fold and become a total piece of shit, or you just get to be shit hot. Well,
Yeah.
Jonathan Mills was a shit hot soldier,
Hell
right?
yeah.
And Captain Rhodes always would single him out and say, let's check out that bunk. Let's check out that rifle. And he would use his bunk and rifle and everything as an example to the other soldiers, like, hey, this is how you get stuff done. Right?
Yeah. Wow.
So one day came where Jonathan got in a friendly wrestling match with one of his other recruits, right? And it busted his gun belt, right? So they're doing a morning inspection, and this time his drill sergeant was coming around, and he comes to Jonathan Mills, and he says, hey, what's the deal with your gun belt here? He's like, well, sir, I broke it. Okay. Moves on to the next kind of thing, whatever. He's just, first time in a long while, he's kind of looking like a bag of ass. So that same night, they had evening inspection, right? Drill sergeant comes back around and says, what's going on with your gun belt? He's like, well, sir, like I told you today, I broke it. Wrong answer. Back to KP duty.
Oh
So he got another 7 days hard labor KP duty, finishing the second third of the floor. The first time he finished 1/3 of the floor, scrubbing it on hands and knees and all that kind of stuff like that. This time he had to finish the next third.
So they were waiting.
And this isn't a nice linoleum floor.
No.
This is a wooden tug and groove, dirt between the cracks floor,
yes.
and they're digging in between the cracks just to make sure all the dirt's out.
I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
This is 1940s.
World War II, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's hard fucking work.
Well, it doesn't even stop there, right? So Jonathan is in there just scrubbing and all that kind of stuff like that. He's getting everything squared away. Now, as he had been a good soldier, he got himself an evening pass. Back in the day, you could get passes in basic training. You go out for evening liberty, right?
Sure.
So Jonathan wants to keep himself looking nice and fresh and clean. So he's doing a bit of a squat. He's doing kind of like one of those numbers where you just kind of like, spread your legs apart, bend at the knees, and you got your ass hanging like down to your ankles. And he's just scrubbing in that position.
Oh, that sounds exhausting.
So Captain Rhodes is doing his rounds. He comes around. He sees Jonathan over there sitting all weird. Comes up to him. He's like, and by this time, it was apparent that Captain Rhodes was getting a fondness for Jonathan. Sure. It was just kind of like, all right, he's a good enough kid. He's a bit of a knucklehead, but whatever. So he goes over to him. He's like, hey, Jonathan, why are you sitting like that? Why don't you get down on your hands and knees and clean just like everybody else? And he's just like, well, Captain, I got a pass tonight, and I just want to keep my trousers nice and clean so I can dress to impress. A lot of girlies out there and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Captain kind of smirks at him and says, why don't you give up your pass tonight and finish the floor?
No.
Yes.
Oh. What a dick.
Oh, fuck. So he's like, all right.
He hasn't paid the piper enough?
He hasn't paid the piper enough. So he's just like, why don't you give up your pass tonight and finish the floor, right? So he's like, all right. So he has to give up his pass, and he has to go finish the last third
now I'm
of
sad.
This fucking floor that he's got to clean, right? Captain Rhodes really has an affection for this guy. So what happens is they're getting ready for their big inspection. You got a colonel that's coming in, and you've got him being escorted by Captain Rhodes. So it's going to be a big thing.
Gotcha.
So this is several days later. Now, Jonathan has managed to get himself another pass. So he's just like, you know what? I am not missing this one.
Yeah.
So he's getting everything cleaned up and all that kind of stuff like that. The last thing he has to do is clean up his rifle. But he's like, all right. He talks to one of his friends that he enlisted with. It's from his hometown. He's got every reason in the world to believe that this guy is solid.
Yeah.
So he says, hey, man, if I give you $5, will you clean my rifle? Back in the 40s, $5 is pretty serious.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, let me give you $5. You clean my rifle so I'm ready for this big inspection.
That would buy you a house back then.
Just about, right? So his friend is like, yeah, man, I got you. No problem. Like, go out, enjoy your pass. I know you've had your last one taken away from you and everything else like this. So the following day comes. It's big inspection day. You've got the colonel coming in, being escorted by the captain. Captain Rhodes goes right over to Jonathan and says, Colonel, let me show you what a clean weapon should look like. So he brings it up. He kind of inspects the barrel, and it is clearly untouched. It is still dirty. Captain kind of side-eyes him, shoves it back in Jonathan's hands, and then they move on to the next thing. Jonathan said nothing hit him so hard as disappointing the captain. He's like, oh, fuck. So then after all the dust settles and all that kind of stuff like that, the officers leave. He looks at his buddy. He's like, what the fuck, man? His buddy's like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. I meant to tell you. I got really sleepy that night, and I didn't get a chance to clean. He's like, why didn't you fucking say something, man? I'm letting down the captain over here. And just so you guys know in the audience that maybe haven't served or anything else like this, is that sometimes, like when you have like this kind of relationship that develops between like a senior person and a lower person, it really hurts worse than any punishment to let them down.
God,
that's exactly what this was. So he never made that mistake again. He's like, okay, from here on out, I trust no one, even if they're my best friend from home. Like, I'm going to do it myself. If I want it done right, and if I want to impress the captain and keep him, on my good side.
He's the one who created that phrase.
Exactly.
If you want it done right.
I'll do it myself.
Yep.
I love that story. And since this is a special holiday episode, we have a very nice addition here. On episode 19, we discussed this story, but since we have Murph here in studio, he's agreed to kind of take us through a very special occurrence. I shouldn't say special, a very interesting occurrence that happened in Vietnam on New Year's Eve. So we're keeping on theme here. Murph, would you like to tell us about your special story? Maybe add a couple details that we missed.
Yeah, no. It's one thing when you're in a combat zone, there are no holidays, there are no weekends.
That's for sure.
You work 7 days a week.
Yep.
If you get sleep, that's a bonus. That's not a given.
Right. You folks are a different breed.
So New Year's Eve is coming up.
Right.
Now on Christmas, we kind of blew through Christmas that year.
Oh, wow.
But New Year's Eve is coming up, and we're being told, hey, listen, somebody shanghaied a bunch of champagne. We've got some decorations. New Year's Eve, we're going to have a party in the mess hall.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to have drinks and everything.
Nice.
So just everybody just get. So the poor guys that drew guard duty that night, they really were going to miss out.
Ah, shit.
So we're all excited. So it's getting closer, and it's getting closer. And you just can't understand the excitement that, oh my God, we're going to have a party.
Right.
I mean, this is a really big deal.
Really big deal.
So much so, I had a set of civilian clothes with me.
Yes.
That I decided I'm going to a party. I'm dressing in civvies.
Yeah.
I'm off duty.
Yes.
I'm not going off the compound, so it's okay.
Right.
So I'm dressed in civvies, and I think I was one of two people in civvies. Everybody else is in uniform.
Wow.
So we walk in there, and they had streamers and all this kind of hoop-de-doo for New Year's Eve, and
that's awesome.
And they've got, I don't know how many bottles of champagne, but it was just friggin' everywhere.
Yes.
So
somebody did it up right.
Oh yeah, I mean the scrounge that did that did a good job. They even had snacks and stuff out, which was again a luxury.
That just doesn't happen.
Right. And so as we're walking in, they're handing everybody a bottle of champagne.
Their own bottles?
Their own bottles.
Yeah.
So I got mine, and I'm just about ready to open this sucker. And well, they gave us glasses too, but I wasn't going to mess with the glass.
Yeah.
And damn it, wouldn't you know it, incoming.
Oh, shit.
So we're all in the mess hall.
Yeah.
And we got incoming. Everybody scatters.
Yes.
Well, I scattered back to my hooch to grab my weapon.
Yeah.
But I made sure I had that bottle of champagne clutched in my hot little hand.
This is mine.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Got back there, grabbed my weapon, in civvies, started heading towards my post, and
still with the bottle in your hand?
well, yeah. I told you I wasn't about to give it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody else will take it.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, this isn't something that you get every day. I'll give up some ammo to keep that bottle. Let me tell you.
You had to choose between holding a bandolier in your left hand and your champagne. If I die, I die.
You made the right choice.
So we're scrambling around just about that time. I don't know what all happened, but okay, it's all clear. Never mind. Okay,
yes.
The rocket stopped and the perimeter was clear. It was one of those. They were just harassing us basically.
Yeah.
And so I've got a picture of me afterwards in the hooch. In civvies with an M16 in one hand, with a cigarette and a bottle of champagne in the other, and
yes,
I did finish that bottle of champagne. I'll tell you.
Hell yeah!
So.
Yes, this is the most epic picture. We got it right here in the studio, and he just looks like a badass. Got a nice champagne bottle, cigarette. He's got an M16.
My favorite part of that
What's
is
up?
He's wearing the exact same shirt, just a different color. He's in a flannel in both pictures.
Yes. I love that. Thanks for sharing. That's some extra detail and
That's a
everything
good
like
one,
that
man.
we didn't have. But happy 2025, everybody. Let's have a great year. Happy 2025, Cheeks. Happy 2025.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year,
I'm going to
everybody.
go get those nipples raised.
Yeah. Let me know how that turns out.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Cammo Comedy Show Podcast. We got a fundraiser going on right now, so if you like what we're doing here and want to keep us rolling, consider making a contribution. We'll put a link in the description. Also, we had some fun animations made up for this fundraiser, so we'll put links for those in the description as well if you want to just check those out. Also, don't forget to tell a friend about us if you love what we're doing here. Word of mouth advertising is very powerful, and we really appreciate you for helping us out. If you've got any funny military stories of your own or know somebody who does, drop us a voicemail at area code 531-222-6146. Also, we've got an email open. That's stories@cammocomedy.com. That's stories, STORIES, at CAMMOCOMEDY.com. We'll have a lot more fun announcements coming soon, so stay tuned. All right, I'm going to go microwave a croissant. Later.
That was a fun one. You blew it.
I'll blow you. That was good.